In this speech, we would like to share with you the activities and incidents which are related to the ports of Assos, which is an Aegean coastal city in the Troas region, located in the north of Asia Minor. Although ancient writers narrate that Assos, which was situated on a volcanic hill at the northern edge of the Adriatic Gulf, was founded by Metimnians, who settled at the northern end of the Lesbos, the evidences suggesting primary settlements in prehistoric ages have been found. The name of Assos was changed as Behram in the Ottoman period, and the settlement there have continued uninterruptedly until today. Most of the researchers who visited Assos in 18th and 19th centuries described the ancient city as the best example for a Greek polis. This aspect of the city played a role regarding the Archaeological Institute of America's selection of Assos as the first excavation sites of them in 1881. Archaic period Athena temple on the Acropolis, well-preserved fortification walls, necropolis, gymnasium, stoa structures in the Agora, Boulevardarium and port such views of the researchers. Major buildings programs were not implemented in the city during the Roman Imperial period. On the other hand, during the Byzantine period, only small additions were made to the public structures, and in the Ottoman period, while the village was being established, choice was the northern area, which was away from ancient public structures and faces the Tuzla Stream instead of the sea, and so that Assos' ancient Greek age place has been largely preserved. First archaeological excavation in Assos was carried out by French archaeologist Rocher in 1838. He made a short-term study to reveal the friezes and metopes of the Athena temple on the Acropolis. The first systematic excavations were carried out by Joseph Thatcher Clark and Francis Henry Bacon between 1881 and 1883 on behalf of Archaeological Institute of America. One-third of the artifacts found in this excavation session were brought to the Museum of Fine Arts in Boston. Archaeological excavations which were resumed after a centenary by Turkish archaeologists in 1981 still continue. The reason for choosing a high volcanic hill at the western end of the Adriatic Gulf, north of Lesbos, as a settlement area is that it is sheltered from the northern winds and is also suitable anchorage place for ships. For Greek polis, a port was an essential necessity for transportation and trade with other polis. Against the northern winds, which restrain the course of ships traveling across the north of the Aegean Sea, the port of Assos is a safe haven. It is quite likely that until the Roman period, the ships had to pass through the strait, which was 7 miles in width and located between Lesbos and Troas. Researchers who visited the region with ships in 18th and 19th centuries state that when the northern winds start to blow, it becomes impossible for ships to reach Hellespontos through Tenedos route. Likewise, according to modern scholars such as Leaf and Maggie, it was most of the time impossible for ancient age ships to pass Hellespontos due to unfavorable winds. Ships had to wait for suitable weather conditions for days or even weeks in order to continue their sailing. For this reason, it is estimated that in antiquity, Assos was the main anchorage place for ships navigating from the Aegean Sea to the north. There is a narrow coastal strip in front of the steep cliffs that is 120 meters in height. The port of Assos, which is located in a rapidly deepening coast, is a very suitable point of coming aboard for ships which could not navigate from Lekton to north due to northern winds. As also quoted from Strabo, the port of Assos was established with a jetty. As a result of recent researches in the city, 2 adjoining ports have been found. Jetty walls of the first port can be observed under the water. It is known that the port, which is still in use at the west of this one, was actually built on an ancient jetty as well. It is estimated that the structure ruins at the port, whose jetty is under the waters now, belong to a shipyard. Based on this, it can be stated that this port was used for maintenance and repair of ships. The source of drinkable water, which was one of the essential requirements of the ancient seafarers, is located right next to this port. Jetties were built in a form to protect anchored ships against southern winds. The strait, which was formed between the mainland and the Lesbos across the Adriatic Gulf, provided conditions for a lake that is safe from winds. It is estimated that one of the main reasons for the Methenians in Lesbos to choose the highest and most challenging part of this coast, despite the fact that there were many other points where the geographic features are more suitable for resettlement on the coast of the Troas, was that points being the most suitable place across the Adriatic Gulf for anchoring. It is estimated that the ships which could not navigate through the open sea and could not pass through Lekton left their goods at Assos. Goods unloaded at Assos must have been carried to Hellespontos coast via two different land routes. First of these land routes, as shown in Tabula Peutingeriana, goes parallel to coast through Adramyttium and reach Assos, and then to Hellespontos coast across Alexandria Troas. The second route, on the other hand, extends across Hellespontos coast, passes Skamandros Valley, and reaches the port of Assos. These two routes are about 75 kilometers inland, and they are different in terms of their geographical hardships. They were preferred based on the cities to which goods were transferred. Carrying the goods through land routes with caravans instead of sea transport due to geographical reasons must have been more advantageous for merchants. The bridges on the Sadnioes River, which flows across the north of Assos, were built in different periods from ancient age to Ottoman period. These bridges are the proofs to support the usage of the land route in different time periods. Similarly, it is not possible to suggest that the Ottoman period stone-paved roads in the eastern and western regions of Assos were built for a small and insignificant village like Assos, or Behram as its modern name. These roads must be directly related to the port of Assos. Polis near Assos and with no coast to the sea, such as Lamponia and Palaya Gargara, had to use the Assos port for trade and communication with overseas cities. While the port of Assos was the most significant point of connection between the Aegean, Lesbos and Troas with the road network connected to it, this state must have begun to change after the establishment of Alexandria Troas, that is about 45 kilometers north in 310 BC. This new city was the biggest metropolis of the Troas, and its inner port became the center of shipping trade. Although the Assos port partly lost its importance during the Roman period, it was among the active ports. An inscription in Ephesus supports this case. Mentioned stele on which customs laws in Asia Minor were written is dated about 26 AD. On the stele, ports to which goods imported or exported via sea should be reported, distances between the ports, dimensions of customers, and the list of ports at which customs transactions to be carried out are written. Transaction ports at the Troas coast are listed as Alexandria Troas, SOMAXXII, Assos, and Gargaron. This inscription is an important evidence to show the use of Assos port as shipping trade during Roman Imperial period. Ruins in Assos' ancient city testify that Assos was the leading city among Greek polis across the southern coast of Troas. It can be stated that Assos, being a prosperous city from the Archaic Age to the early Imperial period, was directly related to the intensive use of its port. There is some information, despite being scarce, which support modern researchers' thesis that the port of Assos was a stop for merchant ships in antiquity. Goods in its hinterland were exported to the port of Assos, and imported goods, on the other hand, were brought to Assos port and then transported to interior lands via land routes. Strabo narrates that wheat for Persian king's bread was imported from Assos, probably in 4th century BC. American excavation team of 1881 especially emphasized that the bread made of wheat, which was harvested from the plain through which Nioes River flowed, was really delicious. Besides, the grain produced in the Stamandros plain must have been exported from the port of Assos. Sarcophagi made of andesite, which was a local stone in Assos, were exported to various centers around the Mediterranean in the Roman Imperial period. Ancient writers' narration that Assos stone dissolved the flesh quickly might be the reason for the demand for those sarcophagi, which were relatively unattractive due to its grey color compared to marble. Earliest information about the Assos stone comes from Theophrastos, or titled On Fire. Sarcophagus is made of stone. This sarcophagi dissolve corpses more rapidly than air and fire. However, it can be accepted that the statements of Pliny the Elder about the Assos stone influenced Assos sarcophagus becoming an export product in following years during the Roman Imperial period. Pliny writes in his book that Assos stone rapidly dissolves the corpse Assos sarcophagi, which are dated to late 2nd century and early 3rd century AD, were exported to Palestine, Egypt, Greece, and Italy, undoubtedly via Assos port. An important evidence for the fact that Assos sarcophagi were transported by sea to different centers on the Mediterranean coast is a shipwreck found near Metone, the southern coast of Greece. This ship's route was probably to Italy, and 6 Assos sarcophagi and columns were found in the ship's cargo. Best examples for the goods which reached Assos via its port are the Hellenistic period stamp-sealed amphorae. There was a wine importation to Assos from Hellenistic periods, leading wine production centers such as Tassos, Knidos, Rhodos, and Sinope. Hellenistic amphorae demonstrate the commercial relations of Assos with Aegean islands. Coins found during Assos excavations, which are attributed to transmarine skips, are very interesting as well. These coins are issues from Greece, Asia Minor, and Aegean islands. There is not a written evidence for the port regarding the Byzantine period. However, Preres, who visited Assos in the 16th century, narrates that the port was a little overfilled due to the waves coming from the west, and therefore was more suitable for small ships. Preres also states that it was possible for big ships to anchor at the Kadırga Koyu, which is located in about 1 kilometer east of the ancient port. According to 19th century Ottoman correspondences and American excavation reports of 1881-83, the port of Assos was the biggest acorn exportation center in Troas. Acorn, the fruit of oak, which was the most common tree species of Troas, was used for the production of dye and leather refining. For the exportation of acorn, the pier at the Assos port was repaired and 5 buildings were constructed, including 1 custom house and stores. Each day, acorns which were collected from the surrounding villages were transported to the port of Assos with about 200 camels, and they were exported as loaded into the foreign-flagged ships waiting offshore. In 1881, there were 3 ports which functioned as customs center in Troas region: Çanakkale, Tenedos, and Behram Assos. Although Behram was a poor village with only 50 houses in that period, the fact that the customs structure was built shows that the Assos port was still active and was preferred in international trade due to several reasons, such as its position, weather conditions, and accessibility. Despite scarce written sources, there are some information about the people who came Assos with ships. Couples of Plato are the leading visitors. Hermias, who was the slave of Assos and Athenius tyrant Eubulus, took a short-term education in Plato's academy in Athens and became Aristoteles' friend. After his return to Athenius, Hermias became the new tyrant in 350 BC as a successor of Eubulus. In 347 BC, Hermias invited Aristoteles to Assos. It is known that, apart from Aristoteles, Xenocrates, Theophrastos, and Plato's pupils from Skepsis, such as Erastos and Choriskos, had activities in Assos after that invitation. Upon Hermias' arrest, arrested by Persians in 345 BC, Aristoteles and Theophrastus sailed to Lesbos. Egyptian king Ptolemy VIII Evergetes had a military campaign against Cyprus between 161 and 154 BC, and he visited Assos. Assos people presented a white pig to the king as a gift. Germanicus, along with his wife and 6 years old son Caligula, came from Lesbos and visited Assos in 26 AD. Assos citizens erected a statue of Germanicus and his wife Agrippa at the Agora, and upon Caligula's enthronement, they hanged a bronze plate at Guaterion, which stated their commitment to the emperor. St. Paul came Assos in 57 AD. Via land route and then sailed to Lesbos from the city's port. In relation to Assos, that was a major anchoring point on south to North Sea route. At the northern Aegean Sea, there are 2 inscriptions known which are about the sailors of Assos who were active in shipping trade. The one at the Tassos was found in Aliki sanctuary, and it is an offering stele. The fact that mentioned stele is made of andesite shows that the captain had this stele built before his sail from Assos. On the other hand, the second inscription that belongs to a captain from Assos was found in Trotti Island, located in western Greece. Probably the name of ship's chief mate was written on the missing part of the inscription. The facts that artifacts found during the French and American researchers' excavations in the 19th century were taken to the port of Assos and shipped from there are concrete evidences of ports still being active in that period. After the customs building was closed, Assos port became a small fishing port and a popular tourism center of the Turkey. In conclusion, according to the lacking information on commercial activities, it cannot be stated that Assos port was equivalent to other ports in Western Anatolia, and the area of its influence extended to a very wide geography. Based on available information, it is observed that the port of Assos was a city port which was used for getting access to the settlements located in the north of the Aegean Sea. However, it can be said on the contrary, when the mentioned sarcophagi are taken into consideration, that relations with a wider geography existed during the Roman Imperial period. Centuries after Aristoteles and thereafter St. Paul's departure from the port of Assos, this geography is still one of the routes for immigrants who try to reach Europe with the hope of a better life. Thank you for listening to me.